So what I'm going to do is basically tell you about my fitness journey, like where it all began, what I'm doing now, what I want to do in the future, and basically start from the beginning and move forward. So for me it started when I was 15 and I was playing rugby. I was doing alright, I was quite an active kid, did well in rugby, did county, made it to England age group rugby, and it was at that point I was like, right, I need to actually start lifting weights. I see the guys on the rugby pitch, and I see the guys that are much bigger than me, and I see the professional players and they're all massive, and I'm like, shit, yeah, I want to be like them. They're like my idols at the time. So fortunately for me, there was one of the teachers at school, one of the science teachers, was actually a strength and conditioning coach as well, something that he did in his spare time, and he taught me about how to move correctly, and like it was nice to have somebody there to show me the way. And it's actually something that I now see that most people just don't have, and trying to actually move properly and learn about the gym, it's a really complicated thing, and so I feel really great that I had the opportunity when I was like 16 to start lifting in a safe environment with somebody that actually knew what they were doing. 16 went, did pretty well for England, got picked up by London Wasps, and started to train with the London Wasps boys, which was amazing. Like, just being in that professional environment was fantastic, and it provided me with loads of motivation to push hard and to really like develop, I suppose. It was in the gym that I found myself really trying to push. I really liked that competitive nature of lifting hard and lifting heavy, and like competing against yourself, but also competing against the other guys in the gym. And at the time I wasn't very big. There was guys that were naturally way bigger than me, and so for me to kind of like, yeah, I want to be able to lift as much as you, even though you weigh 10, 15 kilos more than I do, that was a real big motivating factor. Everything was going really well with the rugby, but then classic case of somebody that was good at a sport when they were younger, I got a big injury. So I tore my ACL when I was 17. It was literally the start of my second year at London Wasps, and like, yeah, it put me out. I had to have knee reconstruction. I was out for 6 months, which was the vast majority of that rugby season. But what it did do is allow me to spend loads of time in the gym learning from the S&C coaches at London Wasps. So I took like a real big interest in what they had to say, and like I was kind of trying to get my head around the way the body works, and how like you do one thing and it will do this, and if you do this then it can have this effect. And it was something that I found really interesting, and obviously I was really driven to try and be a professional rugby player at the time. So I was trying to rehab as fast as I can, and actually came back and I was playing 5 months post-op, which is really, really quick. Usually an ACL rehab will be kind of 6-7 months post-op if there's no complications. So yeah, I was really happy with that, but be all and end all, didn't get a contract with them when I was 18. Said I hadn't had the opportunity to progress to the level that they wanted me to, which understandable because I'd just been sat in the gym for 6 months. So obviously can't develop that technical aspect, but what it did leave me with was that kind of understanding, that baseline understanding of the body. And I decided at that point I was going to do my degree in strength and conditioning. It was that experience which allowed me to kind of want to continue learning along those lines. So I did my degree. Whilst I was at university, I obviously played rugby in university and was amongst the rugby lads, but what I did get a chance to do was start to be around the older guys that have already had more gym time, more gym experience, and also there was a big bodybuilding community in my university. So gave me an opportunity to kind of see things from a different point of view. Obviously up until now I'd had that sports specific focus of, right, this is what you are trying to achieve on the field, this is the movement which kind of replicates that, this is the force production you're going to need, and don't worry about the aesthetic. And I'm there like, I just want massive arms, like, can I walk on my arms, please? But they're just obviously thinking like force production, speed and power and agility, coordination, all of these things, whereas the bodybuilders I was coming across, they're like, yeah, like let's do chest and just do all of the bench and then all of the flies and get massive and ripped and hench. And I'm like, that sounds like a really good idea. But at the same time, I'm still playing rugby and I've still got this mentality of everything should kind of fit into the sports that I'm playing. And obviously I was studying strength and conditioning at the time, and so there was this like clash of mentalities. And I suppose that was the first point in my life when I realised that one person's opinion in fitness is very different to somebody else's, and really the way you look at something, it depends on your mentality as to how you solve that problem. And that was a real good example of that. So did that at university, never competed. A few guys did that I was at university with, and it was really cool for them to do. It was really cool for me to see how they were doing it. But yeah, it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I was never that massive. I got up to like about 90 kilos, 92 kilos at one point. But that was just, you know, it was like 15% body fat or 12% body fat, something like that. I wasn't lean. Actually, it was when I first did my first cut. I was trying to get into this model agency, and when I applied, I was sat at 92 kilos, and the director was like, mate, like, you've got a good look, but you are way too chubby. I was like, this guy, he coming at me. I'm thinking I look sick, obviously, because you're like 18 and you think you look amazing. And I was like, fuck, right, okay, well, I need to diet. So I went and spoke to my mate, who's a bodybuilder, and was like, right, I've got a month to get in sick shape. So he's like, right, this is what you're gonna do. And when I look back, this was a really not a smart idea. And not the most efficient way of doing it. Actually, really mentally, I struggled afterwards to think that that was the only way you could diet. And what I did was basically, I'd get up and I'd go for an hour's cardio, and that was not like a plod along. It was I'd get up and I'd run to the gym and then I'd run on the treadmill for an hour, and I'd clock up about 800 calories on the treadmill in that time. So I'd come back and then I'd have like fat-free yogurt and fruit for breakfast, which in hindsight I'm thinking that's not fucking smart, is it? Because there's basically no protein in that meal. And obviously I've just done this massive cardio element, so I need to get some protein in because I'm a bit catabolic. Do that, and then I go to study or whatever. Comes to lunchtime. Lunch was just a chicken. Yeah, just a chicken, a whole chicken, oven roasted. No veg, obviously, because you're 18 and vegetables suck. So yeah, just smashed off a chicken every day. And then dinner would just be basically chicken on salad leaves and maybe some broccoli, but obviously I fucking hated broccoli because I was 18. So that's it, that was my diet. And then I'd do that for 6 days of the week. Oh, I forgot to mention that in the evening before dinner or after dinner, depending on how I was feeling, I'd go back to the gym and I'd lift weights, right? So it'd be standard bodybuilder split, like chest, and I'd do back and thighs and tries and shoulders and legs if I felt like it. The other thing I forgot to mention is that at the time I was also playing semi-pro rugby. So I'd be training twice a week and playing games on a Saturday. So I'm doing all of this extra, it's like 6 cardio sessions, plus 2 rugby training sessions, plus 5 weight sessions, plus a game on a Saturday, all on a ridiculous deficit, almost no carbohydrates, and just surviving on basically a chicken a day and some fat-free fucking yogurt. And yeah, that killed me. Pretty much. I mean, granted I lost a lot of weight, and I did have an epic refeed day on a Sunday, which was pretty much consisted of all of the sweets and chocolate and cookies and crisps that I could literally stuff in my mouth. And yeah, I think I went from like 92 kilos to 82 kilos in those 4 weeks. So I definitely got shredded, but literally that month stopped. And I did what everyone does after their first cut and completely relapsed. And that was because I had literally no idea of what I was actually doing, and my association with food had gone out the fucking window, because I'm just thinking all I need to do is start myself until this date and then I'll get this result and then I'll be it. I can just do what I want at that point. and obviously that was not really a sustainable way of doing things. And like when you look back, obviously we've all made mistakes, but it's all part of the journey we go on. So yeah, kind of after I did that, got in good shape, managed to kind of sustain average shape. I reckon that looking back at pictures, I was probably down at about 10% body fat. Maybe I got to my leanest, I would say I was maybe like 8, but then I got back up to about 10 and kind of kept it there for about 6 months, I would say. But yeah, not in brilliant shape, and my association with food was horrible. So yeah, I did that. Last 2 years of university, didn't really look after my physique that much, kind of like did some training, but wasn't on it basically. Following university, started my PT company, which has been doing really well, really pleased. It's just been growing nice and steadily, and that's been cool. My kind of flow of fitness through then has just been bodybuilder basically, but badly. I've still had my S&C focus. I've still been doing my mobility WODs. I've still been doing like my scapular retraction exercises. I've been doing shoulder stability work, and like my foundation of movement is really good now because I've had the baseline knowledge from my first S&C coach and when I was at WASPs and then studying it. So I have this underpinning knowledge, but all I was really focusing on was like, let's just get massive and ripped, and actually I wasn't really thinking about it smartly at the time. So yeah, did that, and then about 2 years ago I started to actually think about it from a really smart point of view. So I'd done the paleo diet, I'd done like the just don't eat carbs diet, I'd done the eat all of the everything you want diet, like the seafood and eat it diet, and I really had like no fucking idea until I started to look at macros and actually kind of thinking about the energy value of food and how that would affect things. So I had that look and started to really take an interest in what I was doing, and actually kind of think about it in a much smarter way. So about a year ago I started to track my food, and this has literally been a revolution in my life, and it's something that I now advocate to all of my clients in varying different ways. There's levels of complexity to how you do it. There's much more relaxed ways of doing it, and there's much more like uptight ways of doing it. And something that I've really found is that through different times in your life, that will actually change. You will go through waves where you want to relax and you want to not really be fussed about it, and then you go through times like, yeah, if you really want it, I'm going on holiday in 6 weeks and I need to get fucking lean now. So that's when everything gets really like strict and focused, but it has to go through waves. It kind of leads me up to my situation now, whereby I'm still tracking. I'm in a solid maintenance phase, eating like 3,300 to 3,500 calories a day, sitting at 88 kilos and roughly 9% body fat. My training consists of maybe 3 to 4 sessions a week, all like high intensity weights-based sessions that usually encompass the whole body, some sort of cardio element, and that won't be running, that won't be like sitting on a bike for half an hour, that will be some sort of like high intensity interval type stuff with weights, like functional movements, kind of CrossFit-esque, but rarely with high technical lifts. Like if I'm going to do like Ollie lifts, for example, then that'll only be in a specific power capacity that I very rarely, if I can't remember a time I ever have actually incorporated Olympic lifting into a metabolic conditioning session, for example, because from my point of view it just seems a bit stupid. You can get injured so easily, and if you don't do the movement properly, then actually what's the point of doing it in the first place? So yeah, that's kind of where I am now. I think I may do a cut at some point just to see how it goes, but I can live the life I want to live at the moment. I can eat as much food as I really want to eat. My association with food is pretty good. I have the ability to basically go out and have a burger at GBK, or go to McDonald's and have a quarter pounder, or like smash off a bag of cookies, because I know really at the end of the day, if I don't eat more than 3,500 calories a day, I'm not going to gain any weight, I'm not going to gain any fat, and my muscle is going to maintain because I'm going to the gym and lifting weights 3 or 4 times a week. So yeah, that's pretty much a quick intro into who I am, what I've been doing, what I'm doing now, my fitness journey.